The Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 4, verses 26 to 34. Jesus said, "This is how it is with the kingdom of God. It is as if a man were to scatter seed on the land and would sleep and rise night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow. He knows not how. Of its own accord, the land yields fruit, first the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. And when the grain is ripe, he wields the sickle at once, for the harvest has come." He said, "To what shall we compare the kingdom of God? Or what parable can we use for it? It is like a mustard seed. When it is sown in the ground, it's the smallest of all the seeds on the earth. But once it is sown, it springs up and becomes the largest of plants, and puts forth large branches, so that the birds of the sky can dwell in its shade." With many such parables, Jesus spoke the word to them as they were able to understand it. Without parables, he did not speak to them. But to his own disciples, he explained everything in private. A short gospel, but two parables. The first parable kind of stresses trust in God. When he speaks of a man who goes out and scatters seed on the ground, and the seed sprouts up and grows, even though the man doesn't notice it. He sleeps and he rises. Of course, he waters it and so forth, but it's kind of its own accord that it seems to spring up, and first the blade and then the ear, and from the ear comes the grain. And so he explains the parable in this sense. And it's very often in our own personal life. Sometimes we don't realize that we are growing in the love and in the trust of God. Well, trust in God, I think, is the key word here, because it is God who is the one that makes us grow, and the one who purifies us, who makes us holy. So the first parable, we might stress the word trust. And then Jesus goes on to talk about the mustard seed and how small it is, and yet when it springs up, it becomes a large plant. It's almost so large that even birds of the sky come and dwell in its shade. And here I would like to stress or think about the word of humility. The saints never thought of themselves as saints, that's for sure. They thought of themselves as sinners. And I think in their humility, and of course with the trust that I just mentioned, we grow, all of us. All of us are called to become saints. And what it requires, number one, I think, is humility. Humility is not denying my talents, not denying my abilities, but realizing that all these are gifts, come from God. That's what humility is. And of course, trusting in God, realizing that He is the one that produces the beautiful crop at the end, that produces us our holiness, and that we become more and more saintly, as is His will, that we grow in our relationship. Like a flower. It needs sunshine, the light, and it needs water. God provides all the graces we need to become holy. And all we have to do, you might say, is just accept in humility, gratitude, of course, and trust. And the rest we will see that God will help us to grow. The Lord bless you, keep you from all evil, give you good health and happiness, and above all, holiness. Till the next time we meet, God bless you and goodbye.